Hello. I'm sure you can not tell what this says here, but it says tracking Bigfoot. This is an old GameCrafter box, so today I'm going to be talking about another one of the games that I attempted to design a long time ago. I think I designed this one back in 2011. I didn't care for it very much, so I'd given it to my son, and he went ahead and brought it back to me so I could make a video on it. Again, I've made a video on some of my other attempts at designing games. You can see them at these links. Some of them are terrible, some of them are okay. Anyway, I thought I would just do this one for fun. So, again, this is a picture of supposed to be Bigfoot in the woods, and I'm sure it looked better back in 2011, but it's kind of faded there. Anyway, the game is tracking Bigfoot. So the first thing you'll do is place this game board in the middle of the play area. It's kind of hard. My design on this was not good at all. It's hard to read, but that says tracking Bigfoot, and then it's supposed to be broken up into 6 different areas, each with an area that has a concealed and revealed space for your cards. And then that's just like some woods in the background, which was kind of in my backyard at the time that I invented this or designed this. You'll then choose one player to be the tracker, and you'll give them the tracker deck, which just consists of 6 cards. It's a 2-player game, so the remaining player will take the Bigfoot deck, which again consists of 6 cards. He'll take the Vade deck, which just consists of 8 cards, and place that somewhere near where the Bigfoot player is sitting. You'll place this tracker's score tracker somewhere near the tracker player, and this is just how he'll keep track of his score. And then you have a D6, which you just place somewhere near the board. And that is all there is to set up. So now we'll get on with how you play this game. So the object of the game is obviously the tracker is trying to find and capture Bigfoot. He has 1 day to do that. So that day will consist of 3 rounds, up to 3 rounds of gameplay. A morning round and an afternoon round will be played on this side of the board. If it makes it to the evening round, you flip this side of the board over to the evening side where it's a little darker, side B. And then you can't read this, but it does also say concealed and revealed. But there's fewer spaces for the 3rd and final round if the game makes it that far. So the tracker's deck consists of his equipment he's brought to track the Bigfoot: a laser grid, a trap cam, the actual tracker himself. There's a trap. That's just a no sign card. And then the tracker's hound. The Bigfoot deck just consists of, there's a scat card, you know what that is. A hair, piece of hair maybe the Bigfoot left. A fresh track that the Bigfoot might leave. There's Bigfoot himself. An old track. And a no sign card for the Bigfoot also. So at the beginning of a round, the Bigfoot player will place each of his cards, each of his 6 cards in one of the 6 areas of the board, either a concealed or a revealed location. Only 3 of them can be placed in concealed locations, so 3 of them must then be placed in revealed locations. So the Bigfoot player will place his first. So he'll look at his cards and maybe he decides he's going to put his Bigfoot face down in that concealed location. Maybe his fresh track face down in this concealed location. Maybe he's going to put this hair in this revealed location here. Remember, he can only have 3 in concealed locations. He's going to put that in a revealed location. No sign in a revealed location. He has one more concealed location. He'll put his scat here. And actually, he could not put both. He can't take up both spots in an area. So all right. So he's got one card in this area, one card in this area, one card in this area, one in this area, one in this area, and this area. Now the tracker player will now choose his 6 cards and place 1 in each area of the 6 areas. And again, only 3 can be in concealed areas for him. Alright, so the tracker player will then place his cards face down. So there's a pair, a Bigfoot, and a tracker card in each of the 6 possible areas. And 1 in a concealed and 1 in a revealed location. So once the tracker has placed his cards, then the players will flip over their cards face up in the first area. Area or locations. I think in my rules back in 2011 I called them locations. So area or locations. But anyway, each player will flip over their card in the first location, and then the tracker will resolve his first. So the tracker has his hound, and the Bigfoot left some hair here in this location. The tracker will look at the border color of the Bigfoot player's card, which is orange, and then he'll compare that to the circle of the same color on his card, which is this orange one. Since the Bigfoot player's border is orange, he looks at the orange circle there, and then that shows a score that he's going to get depending on if he's in if his card is in a concealed or revealed location. He's in a concealed location, so he gets the score on the left side of the slash here in the orange circle, so he'll get 2 points. So he will move his tracker up to 2 points there. Because the Bigfoot player's card is in the revealed location, he doesn't get to do anything. So those cards are now resolved. That pair of cards is resolved, so the tracker will just take back his card, and the Bigfoot player will take his card back. And then you'll go to the next location, and again, this time the Bigfoot player is in the concealed location, and the tracker player is in the revealed location. Now the tracker player still resolves his first, but because he left a no sign card, he doesn't get anything. And the Bigfoot player is in a concealed location, so he would get to get some effect off of the tracker player's card, except for when the tracker plays a no sign, and in this case the Bigfoot player also takes no action. Let's look at one where the Bigfoot player may get to take an action. So let's look down here if all the other locations had been resolved, and we get to this last location where the tracker is in a revealed location and the Bigfoot player's card is in the concealed location. The tracker again resolves his card first, always. So he compares the red border of the Bigfoot card to his red circle here. If he was in a concealed location, he would get the 2 points shown on the left. Because he's in a revealed location, he has to resolve what's on the right side of the slash, which I don't know if you can read it. The font I used on here is not good, but it's LC, so that's actually lose card. And that can also be seen because the Bigfoot player is in the concealed location. He does get to resolve his card, so he looks at the border color of the trackers, which is green, so he looks at his green circle, and it says tracker discards laser grid, if you can read it, which he played here. So the tracker actually will lose this card, so for the second round he will only get to play 5 cards instead of 6, and the Bigfoot player now takes his card back. So that would be the end of the first round. So now we would start a second round again. So the Bigfoot player would place all of his cards again first. Again, he can place 3 on concealed spaces and locations and 3 unrevealed. The tracker would then place his remaining 5 cards. So one location he would not have a card. So you would then finish out that second round if the Bigfoot or the tracker doesn't lose by the end of the second round. As I said, we then flip the board over and play a third and final round. And the game can end in one of several ways. If the tracker player ever resolves a capture attempt and he's successful, then he wins the game. Well, how does a capture attempt happen? One of the ways a capture attempt can happen is if you revealed a card pairing in a location and the tracker player has played his trap card in a concealed location and the Bigfoot player has played his card in the revealed location. Because the Bigfoot card has a red border, you would look at the red circle and you see it says cap. So that's, remember, the left side is if it's in a concealed location. So if the trap was concealed and Bigfoot walked into it, then you could do a capture attempt. If it was the opposite and the trap was in the revealed location, then you could see he just gets 0 score because Bigfoot spotted the trap and didn't walk into it. But when you do a capture attempt, the tracker will roll the d6 and add that total to his score. And if that total is 12 or more, then he's captured Bigfoot. So obviously, in this case, even if he rolled a 6 with only 2 points so far, he could only get an 8. So he wouldn't be able to capture Bigfoot. So early on, if you haven't scored some more points, your capture attempt is likely to fail. Another thing that might trigger a capture attempt is if you paired the tracker with the Bigfoot and the tracker was in the concealed location. Again, you'd look at the red border. Now you can't really see here very well. Again, my font was terrible on these cards. But if the tracker was in concealed location, you could see, or kind of see, that says cap. It doesn't really look too well, but that does say cap. So you would do a capture attempt again with the same rules. If the tracker was in a revealed location instead of a concealed location when he got paired with the Bigfoot, then what this actually says is CBT, which is really hard to see, but that's for combat. Then you would actually have a combat between the tracker and the Bigfoot. And we'll talk about how that works in a minute. There is one other way you will have a capture attempt. If after the third round of the game, after you've completed the third round of the game, if Bigfoot was still not captured or defeated, then you would do a capture attempt at that point. And if the tracker is successful, then he would have captured Bigfoot. If the tracker ever captures Bigfoot, he wins the game. Another way to win the game is if you have a combat attempt, or a combat between the tracker and the Bigfoot, which again would occur if the tracker and the Bigfoot were paired together and the tracker was in a revealed location instead of a concealed location. Then that would resolve the right side of this, which says CBT, as I mentioned, which would be combat. So if there's a combat between the Bigfoot and the tracker, it works like this. The tracker gets to roll the d6 a number of attempts equal to his combat or his tracking score. So if his tracking score is only 2, he just gets 2 attempts. If his tracking score at the time of combat happened was 6, he would get 6 attempts, which is the most amount of attempts he could get if his score is more than 6, which there actually is a 7, 8, 9, 10. Again, my choice of colors and fonts were not very good. But even if his score is higher than 6, the most attempts at rolling the dice in the combat he can get is 6. So he'll roll the dice. a number of times depending on what his score is, up to a maximum of 6 times. And if he rolls a 6, then he manages to defeat the Bigfoot and wins the game. If he does not roll a 6 in the number of attempts that he has, then the Bigfoot wounds the tracker and the Bigfoot player wins the game. So if you ever get the tracker and the Bigfoot paired up and the tracker is in a revealed location, that is immediately going to determine the outcome of the game one way or the other, because once there's a combat, either the tracker's going to win or the Bigfoot's going to win. And the only way you'll have a combat is if the tracker and the Bigfoot are paired up. And again, the tracker is the tracker's in a revealed location. So you got to be careful about ever putting the tracker in the revealed location if your score is not very high at that time. All right, let's look at some of the other outcomes. We haven't seen where the Bigfoot got to resolve anything on his side of the card, other than the lose wherein the tracker lost a card. So let's see how an evade card may come into play. If you had a card pairing where the tracker is in the revealed location, maybe like this, and the Bigfoot is in Bigfoot's card is in the concealed location, again you would always resolve the tracker's card first. He's in a revealed location, going against a card with a yellow border, so he would look at his yellow. Because he's in the revealed location, he gets the right side, so he would not score any points. If he had been in a concealed location, he would have scored 2 points. But now, because the Bigfoot's card was in a concealed location, he does get to resolve. So he looks at the border of the tracker's card, which is black. You're not going with the border that's on the border of the card. You're going up the one with this that's kind of rounder. Again, that's something that probably should be done a little better, but this was back in 2011. But anyway, so he resolves with the black border. So in the black, he got draw 1 evade card. So if this card had been paired against one of the tracker player's cards that either had a white border, black border, or green border, and it is a black border, he would get to draw 1 evade card. So he would draw the top card from the evade deck, and then it says when it should be resolved or when you could play it. So you can see the Bigfoot player can keep this card, and then he can play during combat. Again, the font is terrible, but play during combat. The tracker player must re-roll 1 die. So if the tracker got a successful roll, the Bigfoot player could play this evade card, and he would have to re-roll a die. Let's look at another evade card. If Bigfoot got this evade card, play during a capture attempt, the tracker must score 14 plus to succeed, instead of the normal 12 plus. And we'll just look at one other one. Maybe the Bigfoot got this evade card. Play immediately, subtract 1 point from the tracker score, but the tracker gets to retrieve one lost card. So, he had lost this laser grid card earlier in our example. So if the Bigfoot player drew this evade card later, he would get to subtract 1 point from the tracker's score, but the tracker would get to retrieve one of his lost cards if he had lost one. So anyway, those are some of the cards the Bigfoot player can get if he gets a result that lets him draw 1 evade card. So as I mentioned a couple of times, you'll play up to 3 rounds. If Bigfoot or the tracker doesn't get captured or defeated before then, again at the end of the 3rd round, which you would play on this side, if Bigfoot has not been captured or defeated, or the tracker has not been defeated, then the tracker would automatically get 1 free capture attempt. If he fails to capture Bigfoot after that attempt, then the winner is determined. If the tracker player has 10 points or more, then the tracker player will capture Bigfoot and win the game. If he has less than 10 points, then the Bigfoot escapes and the Bigfoot player wins the game. So that's it. Not a whole lot to it. It's usually a very quick game. So why don't we go through one example round. Alright, so I failed to put a 0 spot on this on this tracking score, so I just put it on the line between the 1 and the 16. Alright, so the tracker player has all 6 of his cards. The Bigfoot player has all 6 of his cards. He will choose and place his 6 cards in one in each of the locations. First, again, he can't put more than 3 in concealed locations. Alright, so the Bigfoot player first plays his 6 cards, then the tracker plays his 6 cards. Now we'll reveal each location one pair at a time. So the tracker reveals his first. He's in a concealed location with his hound. The Bigfoot is in a revealed location with his trace of hair he left behind. So again, the tracker player resolves his first. He'll look at the orange border on this card. Because he's in a concealed location, he'll get what's on the left side, so he'll score 2 points. Because the Bigfoot player's card is in a revealed location, he doesn't get to resolve anything. So now the players will just get their cards back. And now we go to the next location. We resolved left to right, top to bottom. So now the tracker, he's again in a concealed location. He'll reveal, he's got the tracker there. Bigfoot's in a revealed location. He's got an old track. So we look at this as like a tan border. So we'll look at the tan. Because he's in a concealed location, he gets what's on the left, so he gets another 2 points. So that's pretty good. And because Bigfoot's in a old track is in a revealed location, he doesn't get to resolve anything. So now we just return those cards to the players. Alright, now this time we resolve this location, and the Bigfoot card is in a concealed location, and that's actually Bigfoot. And the revealed location is the laser grid. So first we resolve the tracker score. He's looking at the red border on this card. He's in the revealed location. So he's going to lose a card, and again that'll be shown because the Bigfoot player's card is in concealed. He gets to resolve against the green border, which we've seen, which is the tracker discards his laser grid, so the tracker has to discard this, and the Bigfoot player card just goes back to the Bigfoot player. Alright, now we come down and resolve this pair. The Bigfoot card's in a revealed location this time, and the tracker player is in a concealed location, but because it's a no sign card, the trap set gets nothing. There's nothing for it to trap. Has no border color, so just nothing happens here. Alright, we go on to the next pairing. This time the tracker card is a no sign, and the Bigfoot card is in the concealed, but again, because it's a no sign card, so the tracker is not there and there's no trap or anything there, so nothing happens in this location. And finally here, the tracker card is in a revealed location. Bigfoot card is in a concealed location. Tracker resolves his first. So this card has the scat, the Bigfoot poop, has a gray border. The tracker will look at his gray circle, but again, because he's in the revealed location, he gets what's on the right side of the circle, which is 0, so he gets no points. So the poop did not set off the trap cam and give him any sort of evidence or anything there. The Bigfoot card, because it is in a concealed location, does get to resolve. It gets the trap cam, which is a black border, so he does get to draw one evade card. So he draws this into his hand, which says play at the beginning of combat. He gets to roll 1d6, a result of 6. The tracker is wounded, and Bigfoot wins the game. So he'll keep that and play that if a combat ever occurs, and he gets to do that before the tracker player gets to roll for his combat. So the players will now take their cards back, and that would end the first round. So then the Bigfoot player, we would go to the second round where the Bigfoot player would again play his 6 cards first, and then the tracker player would place his 6. And we'd see what happens in the next round, and then possibly go to a third round. So that's how the game was played. And actually, the tracker would not get to play 6 cards because he did lose his laser grid card, so he would only get to play 5 cards this next round. So the Bigfoot player still does play a card in all 6 spaces, just when he resolves a card where there's not a tracker card, it works like if the tracker had played a no sign card. So but the Bigfoot player always plays his cards first, so it's really up to the tracker to decide which location he won't place a card. So anyway, that's it. What do I think of this design? I think it had some merit in it. I mean, again, as I've mentioned, the card design and the font and everything I used was not very good. I would definitely do some redesigning of the locations and the cards and that kind of thing. And I didn't have any, obviously my artwork that I did on these cards was not very good. But you know, I'm not an artist. I can't. I think I just got pictures off the internet for some of these things. So anyway, I think it had some merit to it. It definitely would need some reworking and some additions, but I do like I think the mechanic of comparing you know, the border of the card played against you to your possible results is a good one. And depending if you're in the concealed or revealed location, you get a certain result. So, not my best game design, but not my worst game design, I don't think. Um, anyway, that's it. I just thought it'd be fun to show one of my other attempts at designing a game. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.